Well, today we are going off the beaten path to discover some terrific road trip adventures. Of course, there are great locations just a couple hours outside of Albuquerque, and you can find them all on Yelp. Joining us now to tell us more about the perfect road trip this weekend is our around town expert and Yelp rep, Howie Keibel. So Howie, of course, weather's warming up. It's a great opportunity for us to get out and enjoy, especially if we're heading south, because it warms up typically a little more in southern New Mexico.
True.
So you've got some places that you said these are all about an hour and a half, under 2 hours to get to.
Under 2 hours from Albuquerque. I think it's one of the best reasons to live in Albuquerque, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
So many cool things to see. Yeah, I have a list of things. A lot of people don't know that you can find these on Yelp, but national monuments can be found on Yelp, wildlife reserves. So let's go through a list of a handful that would be really fun to go check out on your own or with a family or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, what do you got first for us?
Start with Bandolier National Monument.
Love that place.
You've been there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So what do you remember about that place?
Well, you know, we took a lot of trips there. I remember when I was younger, we did a few field trips to Bandolier. That seemed to be like an elementary, not in mid school so much, but in elementary we went. And at first I remember thinking, oh, this is old and kind of boring, as a kid. But as you grow up, you really appreciate the history behind it.
You do, you do, and you get to interact with it, right? You climb ladders.
Yeah.
You crawl into the caves inside. There's a lot of detail on the reviews for this that are really fun. One reviewer mentions that it's called Tough. It's a volcanic ash that you can carve out with your hands.
Huh, okay.
So that's how they made those caves. They dug out this volcanic ash to make that whole thing. Anyway, beautiful place. Next place I'm going to talk about is Tent Rocks.
That is one of my absolute favorite places. It always kind of reminds me, again, we're going to go into the Star Wars. It reminds me of the pod races.
Yeah.
When you get into that little cavern area, it's like miniature pod races there because it's otherworldly.
It is. It's Martian.
Yeah.
I think that so much of this state that's 45 minutes from Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Great day trip, great hike.
And what's nice about it too is that you can do a partial hike there, right? If you don't want a lot of rake, you need something that's just a little more low key. You could go. You could still be surrounded by it's beautiful, but you reach a certain point and it takes off, and it's a legit hike after a while.
You're right. Absolutely right. Good point. The Bosque del Apache. So when I was a kid, I would watch those nature films of watching birds descend on African plains and think, oh, you can't find this in America.
Right.
You can find it. Right here is a picture of it.
Wow.
Right here, less than an hour and a half from Albuquerque, and these are Sandhill Cranes and snow geese that come in by the thousands and just completely fill the airwaves. Like the air is filled with the sounds of these things. So you can watch them take off in the morning. I like to go there at night.
Yeah.
About 6 o'clock at night, you can see them all come in, and then you can grab a burger at the Owl Cafe. There's lots of things to do around there. And actually, the fourth one that I was going to bring up is really close to that. It's the Very Large Array.
Which, it's so funny. I have never been there. It's one of those things, it's like I drive, like I'm going somewhere. I'm either, I'm going south or something. I'm like, oh, I want to check that out. And I never get a chance to do it.
Right. And how many films have you seen this in? Now, obviously, the big one is Contact.
Right.
But we've seen, there was a Johnny Depp movie that just came out last year.
Transcendence.
Transcendence. They had this wonderful field.
Yeah.
So it's a science lesson. As someone named Maria B says, science is awesome, amazing technology on a stunning landscape. It's inspiring to see science at such a scale and so close. And she mentions there are antelopes out there too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So great reviews. I'll mention one more, the Valle Caldera National Preserve.
Okay.
So that's an hour and a half from here. It's out by Los Alamos. Huge, great place to go snow skiing or snowshoeing and cross-country skiing, and pretty untouched area out there. I think it's the largest volcanic crater in the world.
Really?
So,
wow.
yeah, it's a great place.
Right in our backyard. So, as you said, we can go to Yelp. If we want to look this up on Yelp, what are some of the keywords that you suggest we use?
Good question. What would you look for? Let's say you wanted to see monuments. You could type in monuments, but some of the others would be landmarks and historical buildings, and parks or local flavor. Local flavor is a big one. It's going to give you a list of all kinds of things that locals love in that area, whatever that might be.
So now, would you recommend, obviously we're always using Albuquerque, would you recommend us change our location for that? So like say, looking up in Roswell, or can we keep our location in Albuquerque and say local flavor?
Good question. So if you're looking on the website, you will want to change if you let's say you're going up to Santa Fe, you're heading in that area. type in a local flavor in Santa Fe, and you're going to find things like Tent Rocks pop up, and Bandolier Monument. But if you're using your app, obviously it's going to locate that
based on where
you are.
Okay, great. So you're covered regardless of what you're using it on. Yeah. Guys, for more information, I recommend get out, enjoy it. I'm headed down to Lincoln this weekend myself, speaking of road trips. So get out, enjoy New Mexico. Lots of great things to do. Head over to casa.com for more information. Howie, we'll see you next week.
All right.